Alright, today on the channel, something a bit different. We're going to have a look at a camera bag. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Andy Gray here, and today, as I've just said, we're going to have a look at a camera bag that I've been given a bit of a loan of for us to have a look at on this very video. Right, just before we get into this, I just want to preface that this bag has been loaned to me for a length of time. It hasn't been given to me. There's been no advantage. The company haven't asked me to say certain things about it. So this is my God's honest truthful thoughts on it. And as we get through it, you will see it's not all shining light. So yeah, that's the official bit. On with the rest of it. Right then, camera bags. Now I haven't been a big buyer of camera bags, mainly because of cost. Who's got money these days? So I have a tendency of using camera bags for a very long time. So I've only ever owned three. First one is this Low Pro. Not even sure what the what the designation is, but I got this when I first got my my first camera, my first DSLR, and I used this daily, traveling back and forward to work, carrying my gear. Just in case there was a nice sunset on the way home or that kind of thing. So used that for years. So I think I got this in about 2004, 2005 maybe. Lasted me for bloody ages. Still have it because I never get rid of anything. You'd see the rest of the house. And then my next camera bag I've had probably about 10 years. And that bag is the Think Tank Retrospective 20. Now this is my favorite bag. I still use this nearly every time I go out because I love the messenger style of bag. You know, it's all in there, easy access to just slip it over your shoulder. You can reach in and get your camera out, get your lenses out, not a problem. I do have it adapted. I have on the either end. I have a Think Tank lens drop on this end. And another random bag on the end of it, whatever this one's designation is, can't remember. It's another great tool for like carrying a bottle or another lens or another camera. Great stuff. The only problem with this is if I'm using it all day with a lot of gear in it, then it kind of knacks one shoulder. It gets very heavy, and also it doesn't help with it shows off my man boobs a little bit too well. Now the other bag I have is this one. Now this one I've only had it for about a year, and this was given to me by my mate Alan Lightly. I think it existed in his loft for several years, and he was clearing out, and he said, "Would you like it?" Because really I hadn't used a backpack style bag for a long time, obviously, because I had the Think Tank Retrospective, which I used all the time. This is a Tamrac Expedition 7 by the looks of the stitching on the front. So I've probably used this maybe a dozen times in the time I've had it. It's good for obviously carrying a lot more gear. I just feel it's a bit bulky and it's a bit heavy to use all day. I was contacted recently by Toxic Bags, who are a sister company of Three-Legged Thing, the old trendy tripod company from down south somewhere, Bedfordshire maybe, I don't know. So they have diversified away from tripods, and they are now making camera bags. Now at the moment they are only making two camera bags. They are making a backpack one and a messenger style bag. So when they offered me the chance to have a look at one, I said, send me a backpack one, because I already have the best messenger bag there is with the Think Tank. So So they sent me a backpack one, and that is the Valkyrie, the Toxic Valkyrie, and this is the large version, the one that they sent. This is it. This is its grey colour. There's 3 colours. There's like a blue and a green and a well, you know, this part is black. One of the big things for me is that it's quite rigid. You know, it's rigid and very shaped. You know, it's shaped. It's not a bag that's going to sag and change shape as time goes on and as it's used. It's very rigid. So we've got some, you know, all the usual kind of pockets that you expect, and a few extras. You know, places for pens, extra zip packets, place for your business cards, loads of little holes like that. There's like a tarot card type of thing in here as well. That's probably the wrong way of, but in here this carries a laptop. It's got enough room for a laptop or tablet. In here there's a divider, so you can probably get a laptop and a tablet in, or 2 small laptops. This is the large version, so it will carry a 15-inch laptop. The smaller version will take a 13-inch laptop. Loads of space. I mean, at the minute I've got it stripped out with only a few dividers, but there's I think it's 2 dividers I could still put in. So it'll give you loads of room for your kit. Really nice touch here with the card storage, little card holder, and that'll actually detach, so you can stick that in your pocket, which is really good. Saves you having to buy one of them. I mean, I do have one, but if you don't have one, it's very good. It will fit most size of cards. Obviously, most people use SD cards. A couple of pockets here, which is great. You probably get cables and stuff into here, other bits in there. So loads of space. On the back here, hidden away right in the under here, there's like a hidden pocket, which is really nice. So for you travellers, those of you that leave the house now and again, in here you can put your what's them things called? Passports. You put a passport into there. Great stuff, or maybe it's a thin wallet, whatever. Now on the back we have a pocket, a pocket, a space, whatever you want to call it. I think, what do they call it? A frog hole. Excuse me whilst I consult my information sheet. Frog pocket. It is a frog pocket, and now this is waterproof. So it's obviously waterproof either from the inside or from the outside. So if you have been out in the piss wet rain and you have a wet coat, or a wet layer, should we say, you can put that in there and it will not get soaked through and get to your very expensive camera gear. Alternatively, you could put your camera in here to protect it from water from outside as well. So that's a good little thing to have. I do have some comments on that though later on, which as we go through, and I will give you my honest thoughts. We'll come to that. Now on the arse end of the bag down here, there is a rain cover, which obviously will come out. I am not going to take it out because I probably will never get it back in the same manner, and I need to send this back without damaging it. So we will just leave that in, but just assume that raincoat comes out and covers the whole of the backpack. Now there's some lovely little tricks hidden in amongst this bag. Is that these dangly bits here, which I'll be demonstrating on the old B-roll. Now this is where your tripod will be attached to your bag with these 2 straps. Now this is something else again I will comment on as well. I come to the pluses and minuses about this. So you've got these straps here. You've also got this elasticated drawstring to hold the end of the tripod in. That is there. But what's really great is that these all can disappear into the structure of the bag, so they're not dangling everywhere and hanging out all over the place. So that's really good, really neat. So, you know, if you're not carrying your tripod around all the time, you can hide these straps away, well out of the way, and then they're not getting caught on things. You know, if a train door shuts on your bag and things like that, it's not you catching on straps and things like that. So everything, things that aren't dangling a lot, are obviously a lot safer and a lot more compact and a lot less messy. So that's really good. On the side, you've got a really good, strong and wide draw, elasticated pocket there for a water bottle. So that fits in great. Some like a webbing type of thing here, so you can strap sling a coat underneath, or a jumper, or a pair of flip flops, or a pair of slippers, or something. I don't know. So you can, a multitude of sins could go in there without a problem. Got a couple of side bags here, which are really good. Did I empty these? No, I didn't. I'll take that out before I send it back. I've got a couple of filters in there. Well done, Andy, for checking that. A couple of filters in there, and then this one is a little bit larger. And so yeah, you've got bits there, and you've got pockets in there as well. So you can really spec this out, and I'm sure you could fit pretty much anything, any of your content creation kind of kit that you want to carry around with you is going to go in this bag without a problem. So that's excellent stuff that way. Another good little thing is that these side straps, which obviously when you spread the load onto your hips, or carrying it like when you're on a long hike or whatever, you don't want it all on your shoulders. So that you've got these side straps, but these actually come off. So you can detach them, and then they're not getting in the way, dragging around if you're not using them. And if you are using them, they are very secure on here, held with a catch. They aren't going anywhere. So that was a really good touch. So you can tell that this bag has been well thought about. That is the Toxic Valkyrie Large. And current sale value at the moment for this is the large version, 209 quid. And the medium version, the only other size, 199, which, to be honest, being a skint northerner, is a lot of money for me. But if those of you that got proper jobs and stuff like that, unless you're paying the electric bill in your household, chances are you can probably afford a couple of £100. So if you are looking for a backpack, I can actually recommend it. It's not a massive one where you're going to go camping for 3 days with it. Or carry like a load of medium format gear and a massive tripod, like a Gitzo kind of thing set up. To me, this is ideal for your content creator. So if you got like a video camera, a stills camera, a bit of sound gear, carry a laptop with you, or maybe it's a tablet. The essentials for you to get your content away from home, or just store it all in one bag so you can carry it around. So this is great. I took this to Edinburgh for the day last week, had a wander around. I had it on my back pretty much all day, apart from when we were actually driving or on the train. And to be honest, I had too much gear with me. I purposefully took more than what I needed. What I didn't take was the tripod, obvious reasons. I never use a tripod. So I was like really testing it out by taking everything that I like over the top of what I would normally take out on a normal shoot. And to be honest, I was expecting to be wanting to take it off my shoulders within an hour. But it's so well balanced. I don't know how they do it, but I was not fatigued in the slightest. So that was my main takeaway from it, is that I could use this all day, probably day in, day out. And it would be way better than my messenger bag, because I can go for a couple hours and that gets just ridiculously sore on one shoulder. And then the other big backpack one is just so bulky, it's just not nice to use. But this is it's reasonably slim, narrow-wise. But width, it's not really wide. So it'll actually on somebody that's my size, it will probably look quite small. It's a decent height. I mean, I had all my gear in it, and I've still got plenty of room in alongside it. I mean, I don't have loads of lenses, but I've got 4 lenses, camera in, and my other gear, and I still had more room if I needed it. So that's really good. Obviously, all the pockets and everything, room for wallets, passports, and all that kind of garbage. So I was really, really impressed with this bag, and it takes a bit to impress me. So if you're looking for what I would call a medium-sized bag for potentially day-to-day use or commuting, for jobs, that kind of thing, or like a short, maybe it's a half a day a hike, with your camera gear, I can recommend this bag. It does have a couple of things that I would like it not changed, but potentially looked at for a future version. Now, Three-Legged Thing, obviously, are the sister company of Toxic, and they make tripods. So you would have thought they would know quite a bit about tripods and storing them and carrying them. So the whole width way of carrying the tripod, to me, is not ideal, especially because I think you're going to use this kind of bag probably wandering around towns and cities more than going hiking into the hills. Because if you're going in there, you're generally going to be carrying more stuff. So your chances are you're going to need a stronger, bigger tripod. Now, that tripod I do have is the Three-Legged Thing Travis. And that's when you shrink that down, it's pretty small. It's just a tiny bit wider than the actual bag. But if you've got a massive Gitzo thing, that's going to be significantly wider, and you do not want to be walking down a street with that, because you're going to be wiping out every little granny and school kid that you walk past, and you'll not be very, very popular, will you? So for me, and the bags I've had in the past, tripod has always gone vertically, whereas with this setup, it's going sideways. It's not. To me, that's a negative thing. So if you're not a tripod user, it's not going to be a problem. But I like to have a tripod that's vertically, just like a holder at the bottom, and it'd be perfect. Obviously, maybe you would have to change the layout of pockets and things potentially. So that's one negative. Negative may be a bit strong, but that's one comment I have on it. The other comment I have is, just like the other two backpack bags I do have, and something I want to get away from, is the whole opening the bag up from what I would call the front, having to open the bag up this way. So you're laying, that's the bit that you're putting on your back. You're laying that onto damp sand or damp grass or muddy ground to get your gear out, whatever you're doing. So this bit's going to be covered in sand and mud and whatever, whilst you get this open to get your gear out. Now, what I'll really like, because some of my friends have got them, are bags that open up from the back. So you flip that up, over, and then this part opens. To me, that's a much more sensible option. So when I saw they had this frog pocket down here, I actually thought that was a lot bigger. So you could actually easily get a good sized camera in there. I've got a Nikon D850. It barely fits, especially with the lens on it. So it'd be fine for like a mirrorless system, because they're obviously smaller. But I would like to see the entire bag being open from the back, and put your frog pocket somewhere else. Is what I would be tempted to suggest to them. So if they made it Toxic, if you're going to make another version of a backpack, I would suggest you do something like that. Do that. I might be tempted to buy one. But at the minute, I mean, I'd be tempted to buy this anyway. But for that extra level of perfection, I'd be looking at requiring something like that. Apart from those two negatives are always, we're always a bit more vehement with them and a bit more strong-willed with them. So, you kind of skip over the positive stuff. But there's a lot of positives here. When I received it, when I had an initial look through at the bag to see what it offered, I must admit I was not impressed. I was picking faults immediately. The tripod issue and the whole small back pocket thing was an issue, and I was convinced I was not going to like this bag. But having used it a few times and had that day in Edinburgh carrying it around, and it's been fantastic, brilliantly weighted through, across the board. Absolutely, I do love it. Apart from those two issues, but I don't use a tripod very often, and I've gone for like nearly 20 years without a back pocket, so it's not really a deal breaker. So I am now loath to send this back. So yeah, so I am very impressed. I would love to keep it, but unfortunately. So yeah, I'll be sad to see this go. So take that as a recommendation or whatever, or if you need other things from your bags, then so be it. But yes, this is my assessment of the Toxic Valkyrie Large, available from Toxic Bags. You'll probably get a link from Three-Legged Thing as well. Yeah, so that is my assessment of the bag. Very impressed. Hope you've enjoyed this little bit review and my thoughts on it. I will be back with another review of another product very soon, because I have a tripod to review, unbelievably so. Somebody that doesn't actually use tripods, apart from sitting on my desk when I'm live streaming, and maybe a little bit of video outside. So that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Toxic Bag for letting us have a look at this. It's nice to get a product to review. Feels like people are paying attention to the channel and to me when they do things like that. So any other companies out there would like a bit of a review in this style, obviously, do get in touch. I am more than willing to do similar things for your products. Right, until the next one, whenever that'll be, keep hard. See yous.